What's up guys, I'm your Soto. Now you guys are really going to enjoy this video. I'm going to be showing you how to create a header scrolling effect using some JavaScript, some CSS, and this is all going to be for your Elementor website. So I'm going to make this as simple as possible. You guys are just going to copy and paste the code and change a few things around and everything's going to work perfectly. Now let me go ahead and show you guys where we're going to be creating. Now this is our header. Now, whenever we scroll, we have this really nice transition. Our background color changes, our logo color changes, our menu text color changes, and our button text changes as well. And it's all a really nice transition. It's not rugged or anything where it just automatically, whenever you scroll, changes to black right away. We have this transition from clear to black, and we have this really nice transition from our black logo to our white logo. And we also have the transition of it shrinking as well. As you can tell, we have this smooth shrinking transition and it all looks really beautiful. And this is all completely mobile optimized. You can tell I can pretty much shrink it to any size here and I can scroll down and it's completely optimized there. Now that's pretty much what we're going to be creating there. I have been planning this out for a while. So I hope you guys really enjoy this video. If you guys do find it helpful, make sure to squash the like button for the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Now I hope you guys enjoy. So let's go ahead and begin. Now if you're wondering how I built this website, I have a video covering the entire process. I'll try to link it right above here. Now I'm going to try to make this video as simple as possible because we are going to be using some JavaScript and some custom CSS. But I promise you it's really simple. It's just copy and paste, and we're just going to change a few things around. So head over to your dashboard, and there's two methods of inserting JavaScript. Now, if you're using Elementor Pro, they just added a new feature where we can add it into our custom code. But if you don't have Elementor Pro, don't worry. You can use custom code snippets, and I'll be going over that as well. So let's go ahead and do the Pro version first, and then after that we'll do the code snippets for those of you that don't have Elementor Pro. So go into custom code and then click on add new custom code, and we're gonna go ahead and name this it's the header scrolling effect. That's probably what I should name it. So I'm going to name it header scrolling effect. And then I'm going to grab my custom JavaScript here, and I'll have this down in the description so you guys can go ahead and copy that. All right. And I'll be going over this later in the video. So make sure that this is set to, you can have it in the head or you can have it in the end of the body. I like to have it in the end of the body, at least for the Elementor code, because that's where I'm able to insert it. With custom code snippets, we're kind of just going to have to work with what we have for that part. But I'm going to do at the end of the body here. And I'm going to click publish. And we're going to want this on the entire website because we are going to have this scrolling effect for our header on the entire website. Perfect. And then after that, we're going to go into plugins. For those of you now that don't have Elementor Pro, you guys can go ahead and watch this part. And for those of you that do have Elementor Pro, you can skip to the other part when I start editing the Elementor header. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add new. And I'm going to type in code. I'm just going to type in code. It'll honestly come up. And then just go ahead and install this one here, code snippets. And then click activate. And then go into snippets. Then we can either click add new, but there's already one created for us called example JavaScript. And you can just add the JavaScript in there. But I'm going to go ahead and just click on add new. And I'm going to call this same thing, header scrolling effect. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my custom code here. paste it right in here. And then you're gonna have to just click Save Changes. And we can run this everywhere, or we can run this on the front end. I'm just gonna run it everywhere and then click Save Changes. There we go. Now, obviously, I don't want this. I don't want to have double the code for the same thing. So I'm probably just gonna remove this one. So let me go ahead and just remove the snippets here. I'm gonna turn it off for now. Alrighty. So then from here, we're gonna go into our header. Now, I've created my header on the same page, so everything's just on one page. But of course, if you're using Elementor Pro, you can go into your templates, go into Theme Builder, and just edit your header. I do have tons of video that show you how to create a header and how to mobile optimize it. So go ahead and check out my channel, and you can definitely find those videos there. Now, but for this video, I've just created the header within one page. And for those of you that don't have Elementor Pro, I do have a video showing you how to create a header with the free version as well. Just look through my channel. I'll try to link it somewhere around here if I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit my homepage here. And like I've mentioned, I've already created my header here, and I do have tons of videos. So check out my channel, and you can definitely learn how to create a header. So in this video, we're just gonna focus on creating a scrolling effect. Now, I'm not really going to call it like, it's a sticky header, because pretty much everyone, at least by now, I mean, if you don't, that's fine. To create a sticky header, it's pretty easy to create a sticky header. So let me go ahead and just add my custom CSS here. But there is something to note before I even add that in there. Click on your header here, your main header section. Go into Advanced. And you want to make sure that you don't have any padding on your header. So set this to default and basically remove it. Just by clicking any of these, you can set it to empty. Make sure your padding is empty, okay? Because we're going to be adding our own spacing with custom CSS, and you'll kind of see why later on. So make sure you select your section, go into custom CSS, and we're going to add our custom CSS. For some reason I had it in there already. But for those of you that don't have Elementor Pro, you probably don't have access to this panel. Don't worry. You can go ahead and paste your CSS. Go into Customize. You can go into Additional CSS, and you can paste it right in here. Okay? So just follow along from right there. So since I do have Elementor Pro, I'm going to go ahead and paste my custom CSS panel here. Now, if you did notice, nothing is working yet, and that's because we haven't set up our CSS classes. Okay, that's very important. We need to do that, and then everything will start to work for us. So the first class that we need to adjust is our main header. So I do have the classes right here, as you can tell. Any of this purple text that you see here, this is pretty much just notes, just to help you navigate through the CSS here. So the first one is our header class, and it's called main header. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to paste it right into my section, which I've already selected. Just go to Advanced, and you paste it into your CSS classes. So go ahead and paste it in there. And as you can tell, it's going to go ahead and add some spacing already. That's a spacing that I want. But if you want to go ahead and adjust that, go back into your custom CSS, and you can adjust the spacing accordingly from your padding here. So we can go ahead and set that maybe to 10 from the top. But honestly, the reason why I set it to 20 is because whenever I scroll, it's going to shrink. And I'll show you when I go through the JavaScript as well. That's why I'm setting this to 20, because when it scrolls, my padding and my top padding and my bottom padding is going to turn to 10 instead of 20. As you can tell, it shrinks a little bit. See that? So that's kind of the reason there. So right now I do have it to set to fixed, but you don't really need this. If you want to do it within Elementor Pro, you can. But if you don't have Elementor Pro and you don't have those options to make it fixed or make it sticky, you don't have to do that. But I could easily remove this. And as you can tell, I'm not going to have that scrolling effect. Yes, I'll still have this animation, which is not working here. But what I can do is I can go into advanced here. For those of you that have Elementor Pro, I'm just showing you, go to motion effects, go to sticky, and then go to top. And there you have it. It's pretty much the same exact result. But I'm gonna go ahead and just remove that there. I'm gonna click none. I'm gonna go back to my CSS and I'm just gonna paste that right back in there. So that gives you the same result basically. There you go, you see? Alrighty. Now, as you can tell, whenever we scroll, we need to change our logo color. We need to change our navigation color to white, and we need to change our button color as well. So the next one that we need to do is add our logo class. I think I'm gonna go through that last actually. Let me go through the menu text color. So grab your main, it's called main nav. That's what this class is called. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that there. And I'm gonna click on my navigation here, my menu. Make sure you click on this. Very important that you're on your nav menu. Go into advanced. Then on your classes, paste main nav. Now, as you can tell, whenever we scroll, it's gonna turn white. Now the reason being, let me go ahead and click on this header. Let's go to custom CSS. And as you can tell, right here we have text color change. So our text color is going to change to white, but if you want to change this to red, we can even do red. Watch this. I'll change this to red. And you see how our text color is now red whenever we scroll. Now, the other thing that I did want to go over is our background color here. Whenever we scroll, you see that it changes to black. We can change that to whatever color we want. Don't worry about that. So if you go up here to background color on scroll, this is the color that we're changing it to, and it's black right now. We can change this to red. And as you can tell, it's going to turn red when we scroll. Now, we can even use a color code. For those of you guys wondering, if you're probably like, what's a color code? Well, if you go in here, you can easily select, I can select any of these colors here. Let me give you an example, like maybe this one right here. Doesn't really look the best. I'm going to go back here and remove that. Then I'm going to go back to my section, go into my custom CSS. Now right here, I can even add a color code in here. And as you can tell, whenever I scroll, it changes to that purple color. And that's how you adjust your color background for your header here. And we do have this transition and we do have this transition animation here. This part is what's making it look really smooth. You see, if I were to remove this here, you notice that it's not as smooth anymore whenever it shrinks. See that? Now we do have that animation when it transitions to a different color. But if I were to put this back, you see how it gives us that animation that it's shrinking. Now the other animation that we have there is right here. Is our main header animation. So this is for our color change. Now if I were to go ahead and just remove this, notice that when we scroll, it's going to turn black right away. And we're not going to have that little E animation there, that either E transition, whatever you want to call it. But when I put it back, as you can tell, now we have that animation, and it's a lot more cleaner. So that's why you want to have this in there. Okay. So it's not so rough and looks really smooth. All right. So now that I went over the menu, I'm going to go over the button here. I'm going to click on this button. Actually, let me go back into my section and let me grab that CSS class. The next one is going to be our button CTA class, and it's literally called nav-CTA. I'll have this down all in the description so you guys have access to that. So click on your button, go to advanced, and then on your CSS class, paste nav-CTA. Okay, so now when we scroll, you notice that it's going to turn white. So now that's working properly. Let's go back to our custom CSS. And let me go ahead and show you where you can change the button color whenever it scrolls. So that would be button here, button. Logo, scroll, button, here we go. So currently we're changing this to white. But like I said, we can change this to pretty much any color that we want. Red, you can add a color code. And as you can tell, it's going to change the color whenever we scroll. But I like that at white, so I'm going to leave it at that. But like I said, you can change it to whatever color you want. Now, if you want to change text color, let's say we want the text color to be white as well. You can change that too, just letting you know. For those of you guys wondering, it's like whenever you scroll, you see that the text is white. Sorry, it's black on the button, but we can easily change that to white as well. Spell correctly. And then as you can tell, whenever we scroll, now it turns to white. That actually kind of like that color, to be honest. Looks good with this header. But I'm gonna leave it at white. Just leave it at white for now. Kind of goes with the website. All right, there we go. So now it's all set back to normal. Now the last thing that we need to do here is our logo. So you can tell whenever we scroll, it stays pretty much the same color. But what we want to do is I want to change the logo on scroll. I literally want to change it to a different image. And this particular image or this particular logo is actually white. As you can tell, I did it down here. So this is linking to one of my files that I uploaded to WordPress. So I'm going to go over that here a bit more. So this one is called, our logo class. Let me go ahead and grab this nav logo class, and we're going to paste this class to our logo. So go ahead and click on your logo or your image, call it, and then go to advanced, and now your CSS class, go ahead and paste that right in there. As you can tell now, it's gonna change color, and it's also gonna shrink for us. Pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go over the shrinking and all that here a bit later, but I want to go ahead and show you how you can add your logo. So what you want to do is go to your dashboard, go into media, and make sure that you have that your logo is a different color. Or if it's going to be the same color on scroll, that's fine. What you got to do, if it's going to be the exact same color, go into your section here, go into custom CSS, and then just go ahead and actually remove this. I'm gonna most likely have this whenever you paste this CSS code. I'm probably gonna have it set to, you know, nothing. It's gonna be like this, you know. So you guys can go ahead and kind of adjust that accordingly. You guys can go ahead and just remove it altogether, and as you can tell, now it's just gonna stay to that logo. Because maybe whenever you shrink, you're gonna use the same logo, but you definitely want to have this other code here. So we definitely want the width and all that. We want to leave that there, but just in case you want to change the logo, go ahead and upload your logo here. Just click add new and then upload your logo, and then click on maybe your logo image that you want to use whenever someone scrolls, and then just go ahead and copy the file URL here, and then go into your CSS here, and we just want to change this this URL within these brackets, and then paste it right in there. And as you can tell, whenever I scroll, I have this different image here, but that obviously isn't the right image that we want to use. We want to go ahead and use our original image, which I've already uploaded on here. Okay, so that's all set up there. Now, as you notice, whenever we scroll down, our logo shrinks. So the reason we're able to do that is because our width is set to 130, but I can change this. Maybe I wanted the logo to be a lot bigger on scroll for some odd reason. As you can tell, it actually kind of gets bigger. I mean, let me make that more obvious. There we go. So that's a little better. At least it shows you that it's getting bigger. But usually we want our logos to get a lot smaller. So we can even set this to 20 if we wanted to. As you can tell, whenever we scroll, we're going to set our logo to the width of 20, which definitely isn't something that we want to do. We want to set it to 130. That's the size that we want it to shrink to. You can go ahead and adjust this accordingly. The transition effect, definitely leave that. It's just so then we have a smooth transition to, so whenever it shrinks, you have that transition where it moves from the current size to the smaller size. If I were to remove that, you notice that it would be very rugged. It would just be like right away. Not smooth. I like that smooth transition that we have there. So that's why you want to have that transition. Okay. All right. And another part that I wanted to go over is the mobile the mobile responsive part. So whenever we go to tablet, you can tell that everything's already set up for us. I already created my header, like I said, and I already adjusted it and I made it responsive. I have tons of video that show you how to make a responsive header. Try to link those somewhere above here. So right now, currently, whenever it shrinks, it shrinks to the right size that I want it. But you can go ahead and actually create another one here. This one is for my mobile, but I will add a tablet just in case. Let me work on my mobile just to show you guys an example, because that's one that I created here. As you can tell, whenever I scroll, yes, this logo does get bigger. That's what it shows. It's kind of just glitching out right now. But I can literally set this up, and this is only for mobile. As you can tell, any size under 768, my logo is going to get adjusted. So I can do 20. And as you can tell, whenever I scroll down, it's going to shrink as well. And this is, like I said, for pretty much mobile, your phone. Let me go ahead and click update. And I'll show you how that works here, that it works properly. You can tell this works good. And this works good as well. It does shrink, as you can tell. It still does shrink. So it's shrinking pretty good there. And don't worry, the reason we have that spacing up above is because we're logged into WordPress. And I'm sure a lot of you guys already know that if you've used WordPress before, whenever you were creating a sticky header. So that looks to be good there. But like I said, we could shrink this accordingly. And if we even wanted to adjust the tablet version, we can. So I'm going to actually copy this one. And I'm literally going to add another one here. And I'm going to do 1025. And this is going to be for tablet. And I'll go ahead and just have this within the code just in case you want to change that. I'm going to set this to 130 by default. And this is going to be for our tablet here. And if we wanted to, we can go ahead and set this to, like I said, 50. And I'll go ahead and adjust accordingly to how we want it. So yeah, so I mean, like I was saying, this thing's just really glitching out, but it does work. Let me just go ahead and show you that. Just so then you're like, oh, what's not working on your screen? It actually does work. See that? So this is set to tablet, by the way. It's just that sometimes with Elementor, their CSS editor here doesn't work properly within their builder, so that tends to happen. But I'm gonna leave this at 130 here. But you can go ahead and adjust this to however you want for tablet or for mobile. And then this one's just for desktop. Okay. All right, so let me go and refresh this. Now, in case some of you guys are wondering how I did this, where whenever we shrink this, you notice that my nav menu goes to the right. It's literally just a simple CSS class that I did, and I actually did do this in one of my header videos, and I showed you guys how to do that. But you could just let me click on my menu here. I went to advanced, and I just set this to the order of 3, and I set it to pretty much switch over whenever it goes to tablet, which is 1025, which is the width of 1025 on my screen. That's how I'm doing that there. All right. So now for the final piece, which is going over the JavaScript, which I feel like is very important. So let me go into my dashboard here. And then I'm going to go into Elementor, and I'm going to go into my custom code and my header scrolling effect. Alrighty. So, and then let me go back to my header here so I can show you guys what I'm looking at. So as you can tell, whenever we scroll here, you notice that it shrinks down. We eliminate basically some of the spacing on here, and that's being done by this, our header style padding. So we basically move that down to 10. As you can tell on here originally, let me go to custom CSS. Originally we have it set to our padding, we have it set to 20, but whenever we scroll, it's set to 10. So I'm not going to go over too much of the JavaScript, just for those of you that and JavaScript. But you can go ahead and just adjust this. This is probably the only parts that you want to adjust, and that's why I have these comments here. So I tell you that change header height on scroll here. So if you wanted to change the height, so we could even change this to 0 if we wanted to, and then update it. Currently there is some spacing, but if we were to refresh this, you'd notice that we barely have any spacing at all. But then that's kind of why I like to set this to 10. I mean, we could even set this to 40, and you would definitely notice a big difference. Now it's going to be a lot larger when you scroll. So look at that spacing there; it's huge. See, that's how you can go ahead and adjust that. Those are only parts that I would recommend that you adjust, not anything else. And then the other portion here is our header class goes here. So this is the header class that we were talking about, and this is the one that goes. If you click on your section, and it's right here, your CSS class is called main header. In case you wanted to rename that to something else, you can go ahead and change the header class here. So that's pretty much how that works. It's just a pretty brief overview. You guys did want to kind of at least have an idea of how that works. But just go ahead and paste this, and then just go ahead and adjust that, and you guys should be all set. Now, if you guys have any questions on this, which I feel like you guys will, just go ahead and comment down below, and I'll definitely try to help you guys out. And if you guys did find this video helpful, make sure to squash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Because it honestly did take me quite a while to create this video. So I hope you guys do enjoy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.